Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Well, who's leading Black Lives Matter and controlling their $60 million bankroll? Well, new reporting seems to show that no one really knows. Instead, public records reveal that BLM transferred millions of dollars to a charity to purchase a Canadian mansion once owned by the Communist Party. Here with more is spokesperson for Color Us United, Christian Watson. Christian, welcome to Fox and Friends. So I'm a little bit confused here. How is buying a mansion in a predominantly white neighborhood in Canada helping alleviate racial justice in the United States of America?
Well, it's not. And Black Lives Matter's lack of transparency should be concerning to anyone who genuinely does care about black lives. But this, Rachel, underscores a broader problem within Black Lives Matter. And that problem is that Black Lives Matter's ideology actually does not help a single inner city kid at all. It teaches them that they are victims to things they cannot control, and then goes ahead to say to fix that they have to be radical activists for the political left. This is against the sober advice of men like Booker T. Washington, who encourage black folks to perfect themselves and their communities and those they love, as opposed to trying to change the world. So perhaps Black Lives Matter should fix its own backyard and get its own stuff in order before trying to supposedly save black folks.
Yeah, and maybe the corporations that tried to buy some sort of absolution, racial absolution, by giving millions of dollars to BLM should be held responsible, or in the very least call for some transparency. Now, next week, Christian, is BLM week in many public schools. Now, to be clear, these schools are saying, well, it's not sponsored by BLM, but we're just using the principles of Black Lives Matter. You just gave a case for why Black Lives Matter doesn't empower black people. What do you think about public schools holding BLM week?
Well, if you go to the Black Lives Action Things website, which is where they're laying out what they're going to be doing in public schools, it's all built on a lie. It's built on the idea that bills that have been passed to combat critical race theory, which is a divisive and anti-American ideology, it's also an anti-intellectual ideology as well, are somehow trying to stymie conversation about racial justice, when in all reality, the Texas bill actually says, which is one of the more ferocious of these bills, says that it's important to talk about white supremacy and slavery and the Klan, but we cannot do it from a standpoint of demeaning someone for something they didn't do. You can't say that someone who is white or someone who is black has any responsibility for what someone who looked like them did. So, you know, it's just, the principles are just as bad as the organization, in my opinion.
Oh, Christian, so much common sense. Wish you could give that all to BLM. Thanks for joining us this morning. Always thoughtful.
Thank you for having me.
Christian Watson.
Thank you for having me.
All right.